Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Dani, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of the Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Hello ladies, and welcome to the 100th episode of this podcast. When my assistant messaged me to let me know that we were approaching the 100th episode, I honestly couldn't believe how many episodes we've actually put out there of this podcast. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to just thank you guys for tuning in, for listening. I really appreciate all of your support and all of your kind messages. I just feel so grateful that I get to call this work and I get to be able to record this podcast and share, my wisdom with you guys. So yes, I really appreciate all of you. For this episode, this has actually been a request from one of our listeners who reached out to me via Instagram, who wanted to know, how do you sort of navigate when you are on this real trajectory of personal growth and up-leveling yourself and up-leveling your life, but your partner isn't necessarily on the same trajectory as you? What happens when you start to grow, but your partner, the person that you're in the relationship with, very much is committed to staying where they are? Now, the person who sent across this message for this question was very much referring to a marriage, a relationship. But I guess what I want to share with you today could really be applied to any type of relationship. It doesn't need to be with a husband or a wife, or, it could be the relationship you have with a family member or even with friends. Now, where I want to start with this, because this is something I've definitely noticed through my relationships as I've been on this personal growth journey, is the importance of your energy and the ripple effect that can have on the others that you come into contact with. Not everybody around you is going to be on the same path as you when it comes to growing, okay? Not everyone's going to discover mindset work or law of attraction at the same point that you do. So you may find that your vibration starts to really take off, your life starts to get better, but the people around you are very much still where they are at. Your energy is contagious, okay? Don't underestimate the power of your energy to create a ripple effect across everybody else that you come into contact with. And you focusing on your path and doing you to the best of your abilities and up-leveling your life will have that effect on other people as well. And it might be a small effect to begin with, but that effect can very quickly snowball. Remember that we are all energetic beings and we all vibrate at a certain frequency. And we are a magnet to the things that we are vibrational matched to, meaning that we are going to call into our lives things that are also vibrating at a similar frequency to us. So you will find that when you are on this personal journey of growth, you not only start to manifest more positive things within your life, but you will also find you will attract new relationships where that other person is also vibrating at a similar frequency to you. So maybe new friendships, maybe new people come into your life that present opportunities to you. That is a product of your energy. Who you attract into your life is a product of your energy. But it can also have the opposite sort of reverse effect as well, in that who you are being right now, the energy that you are vibrating at, can simultaneously impact somebody else's frequency, okay? So we're not just attracting based on our energy, but we're also influencing based on our energy as well. And so going back to this question of what happens? Well, just by you focusing on your energy and thinking about, well, how can I raise my vibration? How can I, be reflecting an energy of love and abundance and growth and positivity? By you doing you to the best that you can, you will naturally inspire others to do the same. Now, this change is not going to be overnight. Just as you may read a really uplifting book, your life isn't just going to magically change overnight. It's the same with the people that you come into contact with. Just because they've spent the day with you and you're vibrating at this super high frequency doesn't necessarily mean they're all of a sudden going to match that frequency. The change is slower and the change is subtle. And it might feel like it takes a while for somebody to really shift to match your energy, but it will happen. But it will only happen if you focus on you and you choose to stay in your lane and you don't get distracted by the negativity of others or let the negativity of others derail you. Which comes on to my next point, because this is often challenging, especially when we're talking about a romantic relationship, a husband, a wife, somebody that you live with. Because it's very hard when you are around somebody who's perhaps stuck in that cycle of negative energy to not get dragged down by it. And the strength of you and your energy is really going to be tested at these times, okay? And what I mean by this is that the more you are committed to your personal growth, the more time you are giving to that, the more focus and energy you're putting on you, vibrating at your highest frequency, the more you're going to be able to stay in your own lane. So let's say, for example, if the mindset work, if that's just something you're just dipping a toe into every now and again, then it's going to be a lot easier to get dragged down by somebody else's negative energy. But if you are showing up for yourself, for your dreams, for your mindset on a daily basis, when you are consumed with your own path when it comes to the mindset work, a little bit of negativity here and there from others is not going to distract you so much because you are so committed to your path. But let's talk about bringing people on this path with you. Because when we discover something so amazing as mindset, law of attraction, and we're like, oh my goodness, where's this been all my life? We can't help but want our loved ones to be involved with it too. We want to bring them on this journey with you. That's so exciting to think, well, this could change not only my life, but this could also change my husband's life, my family's life, my kids' life. We just want to share everything that we're learning with other people. But not everybody is going to be ready for it. And unfortunately, we cannot force people to jump on board with us. Okay? My favorite phrase is, you drag somebody in, you're going to drag them around. It's a phrase that I used to actually use a lot when I was working with one-on-one clients. My motto is that if I have to drag somebody into my coaching, I'm then going to have to drag them around. It's not going to be a comfortable process for either of us. I want somebody to come on board, and for them to be that all-in energy, okay? For them to be fully committed, for them to be an absolute hell yes. And if they're not, then I would know that would not be the client for me. And I brought that mentality into my relationships as well. Unless somebody was, hell yes, I am ready for this, I want to learn more, teach me about this stuff. If somebody was in that energy, then I would absolutely be willing to sort of share my wisdom and what I knew and point people in the right direction on things. But if they weren't in that energy, then I just wouldn't talk about it. Mindset work, personal development, law of attraction would not be something I would talk about. Because again, you drag somebody in, you drag somebody around, and it can actually create more tension in a relationship if you try and force your opinions or, what it is that you're experiencing and learning onto somebody who is not quite ready to receive that work. The best way to bring somebody on board with the personal growth journey is to quietly and subtly go about doing you to the best of your abilities, leading by example. Because going back to what I said earlier about your energy being infectious, if you see somebody else and they are just fully embraced, within their own path and living their best life and, allowing themselves to grow, allowing themselves to fail, learning through their failures, embracing all of these lessons and really going through this stage of personal growth. When you see somebody doing that and then witnessing the benefits of doing that, it's hard not to pay attention, right? And the attention somebody gives you at the beginning may not necessarily always be the response you are hoping for. Just because you are choosing to live your best life and then start to manifest all of these amazing things subsequently doesn't necessarily mean your loved ones are going to appreciate that or they're going to be super excited for you. Because when you grow, it often makes the people who are committed to staying the same even more uncomfortable because it highlights their stagnation, right? It makes people realize that, okay, well, I'm sat here and I'm doing nothing about my life and I'm living the same life day in, day out, and I'm not changing, I'm not growing. When you start to grow, it highlights that lack of growth in somebody else, and it can often make them feel bad about themselves, okay? And this is why often you might get conflict in a relationship where somebody might criticize you for, the time that you're investing into your mindset or your personal growth. They may criticize you for making changes within your life, not necessarily because they don't agree with it, because they're not ready for that step themselves. Misery loves company, as the saying goes, and if we are not ready to change, it's so much easier to try and keep everybody around us playing small as well, because it's that safety in numbers. It's like, okay, well, I can just stay where I am and stay in my comfort zone because everybody else around me is as well. But as soon as those people around you start stepping up, it's like, well, maybe I should be stepping up as well, but I'm not ready for that. And I'm scared of change, and I'm scared of doing things differently, and I'm scared of growth, and I'm scared of the work that I would need to put in to get there. Many of those fears that perhaps you had when you started your personal growth journey. And think about that. Think back to when you first discovered this work. What was it that made you take that leap? And before you did, were there any reservations about that? Think about the times when you were stuck in your comfort zone, afraid to move forward with something. You know how that feels. And knowing how that feels, you can perhaps empathize with the other people in your life who just aren't quite ready to do this work. We are creatures of habit in that we like to stay with what is known to us. We like to stay in the same patterns of behavior. We like to keep doing the same things over and over again, even though those things might make us miserable, even though we know we are not our happiest versions of ourselves. Why? Because we are creatures of habit, okay? That's just how we are programmed. And so the people in your life that aren't ready for this work, it's not something to blame them for, because that's just a part of being human. A part of being human is just to want to, repeat the same patterns, stay where it is comfortable. It's our ego's way of keeping us safe, saying, don't go over there where, that's new territory for you because it's the unknown, it's scary, you don't know what may happen. Okay, we're hardwired to want to, navigate back to the situations or the habits that we have known, day in, day out. And we see this happen across lots of different areas of life. It might be the person that keeps eating, really bad food, despite knowing it's really bad for them. It's what they've always known. It's what they've always done. It's what they feel comfortable with. It might be the person that constantly navigates back to toxic relationships. They know that that isn't good for them, but it's what they've always known. Maybe their parents had a toxic relationship. Maybe, they've just had this pattern cycle of toxic relationships through their adult life. We constantly will gravitate back to the familiar. And this is exactly the same for friends, family, loved ones who, are yet to embark on this personal development path. They are stuck in that cycle of what is familiar. And here's the thing, right? Often we think, well, why wouldn't somebody want to grow? Why wouldn't somebody want to change? Doesn't everybody want to better their life? And of course, on a surface level, you would think that. But success, living a better life, living a more abundant life, having more money, having more freedom, having, more joy and more happiness. Whilst on a surface level, that might seem like an amazing thing, but that can also feel quite scary as well for some people. And maybe for you yourself, that might have been initially a reason why you perhaps have waited until you started this work, because change is scary. If you think about success, yes, that comes with so many benefits, but it can also come with some negatives as well, like, the fear of responsibility, the fear of having everything and then losing it all, the fear of losing loved ones. What does more money equal to? Yes, you could buy, all of these incredible things, but maybe people will think about you differently. So it's actually almost that fear of taking yourself to that next level of what could potentially happen if your life changes. Maybe your life isn't great right now, but maybe life is just comfortable. This could be the thought process that your loved ones are going through. Okay, I may not be living my best life, but I'm comfortable. It's what I know. It's predictable for me. If I was to make all of these incredible changes, my life could change and I could actually lose everything that I've got right now. Yes, it could get a lot better, but it could also get a lot worse in so many ways. You may also find that loved ones are scared of losing you through this process. They don't want to see you change. Because it's like, well, what would that mean for our relationship? If you were to start living your best life and going through this huge trajectory of personal growth, how might that change the dynamics within a relationship? That can feel quite scary. So I think understanding some of these things helps you to empathize with what your loved ones might be going through, and therefore not get so frustrated when they don't necessarily jump for joy when you tell them you're about to, sit on your meditation mat for an hour, because they may be going through all of these sort of fears and worries about, what could happen within the relationship because you are on this path. Now, depending on your skill level here when it comes to coaching, actually putting your coaching hat on and actually approaching a conversation with your husband or your partner or whoever, not by telling them what to do, but asking them powerful coaching questions. And this is why I love coaching so much, because it's something that you can use when you know how to coach. It's not just, I coach my clients, but you can also use the skills of coaching to help improve things like the dynamics within a relationship. So kind of going back to this, what coaching is, coaching isn't about telling somebody what to do. And that's certainly not what we want to be doing when it comes to, inspiring others to take the path of personal growth. We don't want to be telling them to do that, because people want to preserve their own autonomy, okay? People want to be able to maintain their own power, to make decisions within their life and, keep that control within their life. Rather than telling somebody what to do, you ask questions to help somebody figure out that path for themselves, help somebody figure out why they're so resistant to change, or what it is that they're really afraid of, or what they really truly want from life. Asking them questions so that your partner figures out the answers for themselves. They come to the decision by themselves to make changes within their own life. And you can do this subtly, you can coach somebody and you don't need to be, sat in a formal environment where you're saying, okay, we're having a coaching session now. Coaching can actually be very, very subtle, because really all coaching is, true coaching, is simply asking the right questions. And the quality of the questions that you ask your husband or your partner is going to determine the quality of your relationship with them. Okay? Being a good listener is one of the best ways you can ignite change in somebody else. Not by telling them what to do, not by motivating them, not by giving them some sort of pep talk. It is by listening to them, by asking the right questions and simply listening and helping them come to the realization themselves. Okay, so it's taking your coaching and putting it into this more informal setting to subtly help inspire, motivate, change the person that you're in that relationship with. Now, if at the moment you cannot find any sort of common ground when it comes to mindset work and kind of discussing that, it may just be that it doesn't form a part of the dialogue with your partner right now, okay? Waiting for a time when they are more open to receive this work. But what is important is that you find company that you are able to discuss this with. Because when you are surrounded by like-minded people who have the same vision as you, who are, also interested in this work, together you can elevate each other. So it may not be that your husband, is somebody that you can discuss this work with, but do you have, a network, a community, other women that you can connect with and talk about this work? It's super important that you do have that support network and it's coming from somewhere, even if it isn't your partner. And if you are, really kind of in the zone with the mindset work at the moment, and it's, becoming this big, big part of your life, and you're thinking, well, I feel like we're drifting apart from each other because I've got this big thing that's a part of my life and it's not something I can discuss with my partner. It's about finding something else that is a mutual shared interest right now to focus on until your partner is ready to start getting more involved in the personal development side of things. So what is it other than personal development that you feel that you're passionate about that your husband could be on board with as well? What are the other topics that you enjoy talking about? Are there other plans that you're making together that could become a big part of your discussion, okay? It doesn't always need to be, you discussing your personal development work if that person isn't ready to receive it. But going back to what I said earlier, your energy is contagious. So if you are committed to your path, focusing on doing you, focusing on your journey, you will find that energy naturally ripples into the people around you. And they may not get it right now, but there will be a point in time when they see the shifts in you and that will inspire them to make changes within themselves. It may not happen right now. It may not happen, within the next few months or even in the next year. Sometimes that change in another, it can be quite slow, and we should never rush that, okay? Because everybody will receive this and, be ready to receive these messages at the exact moment they are meant to. So you have to have a little bit of patience here as well. So I hope that gave you some food for thought for today. And yeah, as I said, 100th episode. Again, a massive, massive thank you for all of you who tune in. Keep sending me your messages on Instagram at Dani_Watson_coaching. I absolutely love hearing from you all. If there's any topics you would like me to cover, please let me know. Have a wonderful week, ladies, and I will connect with you again very soon. If you're wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclique.com and click free course in the menu.